And hello. How are you? That's good. Alright, so as you can see, I've added just a few lines of things to do, and I've spaced that table a bit better, just so it's nicer. For everyone who does not know what we are doing currently, we are doing Maya Comet's Roy Poi Boys, who is Maya Comet on Discord. We are doing his Speedlang challenge number 8, in which we have to make use of some sort of quantity distinction. Glides or semi-vowels may not contrast with each other, and we have to have some sort of suprasegmental feature that is not tone or stress. We have done all of this last Tuesday, where we don't have glides, and we have syllable weights that is suprasegmental. And the other, oh yeah, we have not done that one actually. The quantity distinction, I had planned on doing long vowels, which I talked about somewhere. Somewhere, I don't know exactly. I don't remember. But it's somewhere, you can probably see it. We do mention long vowels, so that's this requirement as well. Now we are going to be tackling some grammar. And we are doing that while I'm going to explain a method I often use to think about grammar. So that it's not just you watching me make a conlang. I'm actually going to talk about how I do things. It might be a bit longer because it's more exploratory. But I hope that some of you can learn something, and that for those who don't want or don't have to learn that because you have your own methods that already work for you, maybe you are going to find that interesting. So, here, I've prepared this section, which is just about finding a few sentences to translate, as per this requirement. Translate and gloss 5 example sentences. You can either get syntax test sentences yada yada yada, or take the 5 minutes of your day. What I've done is gone on this website. I'm not going to show you my history, if I can avoid it. Not that it's bad, but yeah. You know. So this is graded sentences for analysis. It's basically just sort of sentences with a minimal amount of grammatical features, and then it gets increasingly complex as you go. So like birds sing. We could take that sentence and just say, hey, birds sing. What is it? What does it mean? So we can see that in English, birds is plural and sing is in the present. So we could say, hey, yeah, the birds are singing right now, but what I just said, birds are singing right now, is expressing that meaning of right now, currently. They are doing it. It's continuous through the present moment. Started before, it has not yet stopped. So, what makes sing special? Why sing? Same here with the sun shines. And not the sun is shining. We can always ask ourselves these questions and find what the sentence is actually expressing as far as grammatical meaning goes, and pragmatically as well. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to take 5 sentences, I've already taken them, and just actually deconstruct them. So we are going to select them. That's this part, selection. Then deconstruct them, that's separate them into their components and examine what they mean. Get what they would be in this language and add meaning that may not be present in English. I've taken 5 sentences already that I'm going to put here. No, actually, I'm not going to do this. No, that was subsection, it was fine. Call that translation. And put this here. So this is the epigraph environment on LaTeX. It just does this because I want it to. It's very simple, just takes 80% of the text, width, which is the space within the margins. And that's essentially all it does, it just puts it there. I can put an author or some more information, and it's just going to display it this way. It's very easy, very simple. I just like using that to put some emphasis on a translated content, what we are going to translate. So we are going to translate every sentence below. I'm first going to do it for one sentence, and then I'm going to write about it, how I do things. Everything that I have already explained to you, like right now, I'm going to write it down a bit better. And that's why it's more exploratory, because I found sentences and then I'm going to explain them for the language. So, my little white kitten purrs softly. We already have a list of things that I'm going to list. So one, we have possession. Which is just my. Then I'm talking about what is essential. Like, first person possession is not necessarily what is important here. Even though both are encoded in English, we do not need to encode both in the same word in our language. So it's first person and it's possession, but we don't write them together. Then little, we just have to have a word for little. So that would be just an adjective. So we are going to need a way to deal with adjectives. Where are they going to be placed relating to their referent, which is the noun that they are qualifying. Then white, another adjective. So maybe we are going to need to deal with adjective order. Then kitten, in English case. But yeah, maybe, we don't yet know. Right now I'm just looking at what can be translated. What information is conveyed by this sentence. So we have possession is first person. We have adjectives that are in a certain order, like white little kitten is weird, but little white kitten is fine. So we have a word that is a diminutive. Then a word that is purrs, it's a verb. And this verb is inflected for the third person. So we have verb and third person that is marked on the verb. But clearly this applies to kitten because it bears the mark of the third person. So it applies to this. So we don't need to have that, but we could have a way to signify that it does apply to this this third person. And then softly, which is an adverb. So now that we have this basic model, actually I'm going to add one more. It's SVO order. Or actually SV, just SV. What I mean by that is that these words come in English in a certain order. In our language, it does not need to come in the same order. It can, that's absolutely possible and valid, but we don't need that. Actually, I'm going to put it that way. Subject, complement, verb, complement. So, or just call it word order. There, that should be good enough. So, it's compiling. Now, that's what we have in this sentence. Now, let's look at what we can do with it. What do we want to express? So, we have to have possession because it's my little kitten. It's not this little kitten, it's not the little kitten, it's not a little kitten, it's my little kitten. So I'm going to want to express some kind of possession, some kind of relation to that kitten. Between me, I, the subject, or rather the possessor, and the kitten. So we are going to need something about possession. So I'm going to insert a section here that we are very briefly going to call grammar, which is a very bad name for this. Do not do this. But this is a Speedlang, so it's going to be fine. Now I'm going to want a subsection, or many, possession. Then, first person, adjective, adjective order. So I'm going to want something called adjectives. After that, diminutive. So do we want to express that a kitten is specifically a small cat, like English kind of implies? I don't think it's needed, especially for a Speedlang. That's just going to be a waste of time, or we could just have one word for kitten that does not derive from cat. So I'm going to skip that one. Then a verb, so we need something about verbs. And maybe we are going to actually put like conjugation or personal things. We need adverbs. And that's it. For now, that's basically what we need. In verbs, we could make something like, we could insert a section, or a subsection in that case. That would be agreement. Because we might want a way to have the verb agree with its subject. Here, my little kitten. It's my little kitten, it's not me, so it's third person. Well, it's not you either, so it's third person. So we are going to maybe want a way to express that. Hi, spreche Fuchs. You're secondus, right? Hi, Ollie. Yeah, you were there last time, so I don't need to explain what we're doing to you. But since you weren't here like 5 minutes ago, I'm just explaining how I go about creating grammar or getting ideas to create grammar, which is just taking a few sentences, looking at them in terms of what they encode, and then seeing if and how I want to encode everything that is in there, and then adding some. So, what do we want to encode that's not in this list? I want to encode something that's not in this list, or that is not expressly in this list. And I think I'm going to want to encode something about the nature of the possession. So, for instance, you probably all know that there are different types of possession. There is, in this case, what I want to do is distinguish between two kinds of possession, alienable and inalienable. So the alienable possession is the one that can be removed, or at least often it can be removed, while the unalienable one cannot be removed, it's inherent. For instance, there are many cases, of course it varies from language to language, but to give just a few cases, if I say my father, that could be in some languages, perhaps even most of them that do encode that. It could be something like my father, that's unalienable, it's my father, he made me, literally. Like, not crafted me, but he is my father, I cannot change that relationship. So my father would not be alienable. Yes, this is my genetic disease would also be unalienable in many cases. Have a nice day, Shiburo. So yeah, there are also languages that differentiate something like my hand. My hand would be unalienable because it is my hand, it's attached to my body. If you were to speak of my hand as something that is alienable, I would be very afraid. It could maybe even be conceived as a threat if you did, because you are threatening to remove it. I would not like that. Some also have. I know that there are a few languages that encode alienability of possession and that apply differently between how firmly an opinion is held. So that my opinion, unalienable, is a very deep conviction, but my opinion, alienable, would be something that you're ready to change your mind about. Or it's something that you're not fully convinced of, something that you're not completely sure, maybe you have doubts. And it's the same for feelings, like my love for cats, which I feel good about cats, it's true, but maybe it would change one day, or maybe it wouldn't. And maybe if you are married to someone, then my love for you becomes unalienable. There are many, many ways to deal with that. Have you heard about passive classifiers when you classify possession based on the purpose? Yes, yes, I have. Uh, I think I read something about, I think it was a South American language that had classifiers that just inflected for possessivity. Alienability in possession can be great for showing the culture of the speakers. It can, but it can also not be, because language does not shape culture the other way around. So maybe the culture evolves faster than the language, or slower, because some changes have occurred. So I originally wanted to do something about possession that is alienable versus unalienable. And now that you talked about classifiers, I do want to do that. Because even though it's going to take more time, I don't really mind. It's a lot of fun. And after all, in the survey I put at the end of the first stream, many people requested that we do speedlangs where we integrate some features intentionally just to show how it can be done. Which was originally my idea about alienability. But I'm just going to go with classifiers. It's kind of the same idea, except alienable versus unalienable is just like one or two classifiers. It could be treated that way. It doesn't have to be, it can just be syntactically different. So that quite a few languages actually use a partitive or genitive particle in the middle, like I arm is my arm, but I of garden is my garden. I can lose that garden. And I'm using English just to emulate it, but I hope that's enough. If it's not, please just ask questions. I don't mind answering that. Even though I'm not like a linguist or anything, I feel pretty confident in my ability to answer some linguistic questions. I mean, I wouldn't be streaming or moderating the subreddit if I wasn't. Hopefully. So let's do classifiers. Possession. Possessive classifiers. So what do we want to do exactly? I'm going to make a note of that. There we go. So possessive classifiers. I'm going to write a bit about my method, so it's going to take like 5 to 10 minutes, where I'm not going to be speaking too much, other than just reading what I'm writing. I'm going to... Method. Let's go with that. Of getting ideas and about making grammar. I select a few sentences that lexically match the tech level of the culture, making a language for. So the tech level of the culture is very, very arbitrary, but generally just pick sentences that don't have like modern technology in them. If you have sword in it, that's fine. We have swords, even though we are not using them in battle. We know what a sword is. Will you use classifiers for anything else, such as numerals? No, because this is a speedlang and I don't need numerals in this. Maybe later, maybe I'm going to expand on features using this basis in future streams, but not today and not next week. So I have a specific method of getting ideas and inspiration by making grammar. I select a few sentences that lexically match the tech level of the culture I'm making language for. So I said it's very arbitrary because that's a Speedlang I don't have a culture to based on. So I'm just imagining something quite generic. So as I'm typing, I am going to be avoiding everything that is computer, tramway, even train, car. Or at least car as automobile. Because the car as in carriage might be fine, I don't know yet. But what we do know from the sentences I've had are that they have a moon, they have roads, they have dance, and they have a concept of family, brother. We could also say that they have some kind of art because they are singing sweetly, and mermaids, so some kind of mythological creature. And with this sentence, I'm going to be talking about how I deal with mythological differences. That our mermaids are just going to be the concept of a mermaid. Because mermaids, or sirens, are very, very varied, even in European mythological cultures. European mythologies, actually. So there is a lot to talk about, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm sorry, my phone is vibrating. And I am back. Sorry, I had to take this call. It was important, but nothing much came out of it. So, oh, my account answered. Oh, that's very good, thank you. I had really hoped that you would forgive me. Oh no, YouTube is at it again. It's telling me that I have no audio. Thank you, YouTube, I do have audio. Right, I do have audio, guys. Loud and clear, perfect. Okay, so, about selection. Either, I'm going to just pick this. So a few sentences can be either selected from a list, such as blah blah blah, or dreamt up. Arbitrarily. I'm also going to be adding content to at least 2 of the sentences because of the requirements of the challenge, so that we have pronominal reference, which is barely possible to do correctly, at least in the way I intend to do it, within just one clause. So I'm going to add a few clauses, like 1 and maybe 2 to another. And also, I think it was... I don't... Oh yeah, at least 15 possible pronouns, so I'm going to need to generate basically a small text. So I'm going to either add things... Oh, wait, hang on, is it... Yeah, I'm going to need to do a small text, because he wants one single bit of text that uses 15 pronouns. So it's not 15 pronouns throughout. So let's do that. Where was I? Yeah, selection. I also advise trying to purposefully to come up with a text that employs features of the language you wish to talk about in the documentation. So that's what we are going to do, but probably not today. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's like 50. Include an example. It's one example showing at least 15 personal pronouns. So it's not 15 in total. So I asked Maya whether or not a certain system I've had an idea for would work. And it doesn't seem that would really be pronouns. Yeah. And I fully agree with him. Because in my mind, when you open the pronoun class, it ceases to be pronouns. They would have to become a system of classifiers and honorifics, or honorifics rather. So I'm not sure how to tackle that, but I'm going to take from the classifiers we are using for possessive constructions, or we are going to be using. So I'll abandon that bit for now. Yeah, there. And instead we are going to do the possessive classifiers. So I'm going to need a table. There we go. This is a very easy tool to use. Which package am I using? Am I using Taboo or Tabula? Yep, thank you, Maya. No, that's not what I wanted. Eh, whatever. So I'm using Taboo, not Tabula, so let's go with that. So how do we want to classify that? What about creating a short story that somehow includes the required quantity of pronouns? Yeah, I said so. It's going to be a small text. So it's probably going to be a small story, yeah. So let's see. How to classifier. Let's make a list of what we want to encode. Actually, I'm going to do section classifiers. This way, and we are going to use that section for the session. I want to have this in the general classifiers section. Sorry guys, I didn't hear you. Oh yeah, no, absolutely no problem. I do not mind repeating myself a bit if it's needed because someone didn't hear, didn't pay attention or whatever, it's fine. I am not asking, nor can I ask that you pay absolute 100% of your attention to me. I generally have videos and streams in the background while I do something else and I miss things. That's fine. So. What do we want to classify? There are going to be nominal classifiers that are going to be able to be used as possessive classifiers. I'm going to add a subsection here, just called nouns. Because if we have possession, maybe we have a possessive case that can be applied to... actually, I'm just going to go with that cases. Oops. Food and drinks is... yeah, they are very common, so... so we have food and drink. What else can we have? Personal relations, I think, would be nice, like a brother, a sister, a pet. So something that is related to the speaker or to the subject, to the... if I'm talking about you, yeah, if I'm talking about you, I'm going to use a classifier that says your brother, and I'm going to be using the same classifier. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to do this and subsection agreement as well, like I did for verbs. Do we want to have something a bit more detailed? So there we go. So personal relations, family, deities and spiritual things. Yeah, that's a pretty good shout. The divine. And spiritual item, how do I... emotions, feelings, dreams. Actually, no, just emotions and feelings. In the description, we're going to insert that. I'm going to insert something here, item. Non-personal relations. Yeah. So this would be... Actually, I don't know what I meant. I lost my train of thought. Ah, that's funny. So, what was I thinking? I'm just going to put nothing and replace with buildings. That'll just be a natural default one. I'm just going to put other, actually. Do we want some... If we are going to have to play with pronouns, do we want to have more distinction for people? Like maybe gender or sex? Well, base it on that, actually. Because if we have some sort of gender for like man, woman, it would be easier to make pronouns. Or at least to use 15 pronouns within the same sentence. Or text. Because we would have more dimensions along which to make them agree. If we don't do something like gender, we could do something like indexation, which is that the first referent is going to get, say, one suffix, second referent, like the furthest one from the reference, from the pronoun, is going to get another ending, or any other way we want to deal with that. It just has to come in a certain order. Or we could do an order of importance, either within the sentence, like the subject is going to get something, but the object is going to get another thing. Or importance in society is more of an honorific system. Let's go with something like... I'm going with subsection and calling that pronouns. Do you have any ideas? Or anything you would like to see? Do you mean like a Bantu style system? Yes, kind of. I mean, I don't really remember the specifics of any Bantu system, but yes, that is that kind of thing I'm thinking about. So that considered to be an important class. They can be crafted. Do we want inflecting? Okay, how do we want to deal with that? My initial idea was that we could take an adjective that is in reference to, let's say we have the it's what, little white kitten. We could take either little or white and say, hey, now it's a pronoun. It's going to agree like a pronoun. It's going to take the place of the noun in the preposition. why do we have classifiers or in post classifiers? Yeah, I mentioned that very quickly. I'm sorry. I posited the idea that we just have classifiers that inflect for possessivity. Such that if we have some... I wanted to have some cases, for instance, but a very stripped down case system. No worries. I went pretty fast over this. Agree. Okay, so if we want to have this become possessive classifiers, I'm going to put that tiny bit higher. We have to know what nouns can agree with, can agree on, in. So I want case. That's it. So they agree in case. They agree in what? When I say nouns in Speedlang agree in case, I mean that we have some way in a sentence to know what their case is. It does not necessarily mean right now that they are going to be marked for it. Because maybe we are going to shift a lot of the marking onto the classifier. I'm going to put people here actually. And then post classifiers we can diversify it a bit. So they agree in case, or somewhere in the sentence there is a way to know what the case is. So they agree in case. Let's go with number as well. And do we want some more defined gender system that would not be fully on the classifiers, which are basically noun classes, so they are a gender system, just not man-woman? But we could have for people, for instance, have further distinctions marked directly on the noun instead of the classifier that says whether someone, let's say we have the classifier for human or for people, person, but the noun could change depending on whether it's a man or woman. Could have a simple animate and inanimate gender. We could, but if we already have classifiers for people, classifiers for divine and spiritual, we may not need that. But actually, if we have animate and animate, why not make it about sapiency? Because if it's about sapiency, we could just use the one for people as general animate, and then use the sapiency distinction for people and animals. And that could give some kind of distinction. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to take this. Yeah, and food if it's not dead yet. I mean, I would argue that food is dead because it's food. It's not alive anymore, is what I mean. So it's not the animal anymore. Do we want to have another distinction within animacy? Because, like, fire is animate, in a way. I mean, famously, Fire, Woman, and Dangerous Things, I think is the book. Yep, that's the one. But pigs could take the food classifier plus animate agreement. Oh yeah, that's actually a very good shout. So you would actually distinguish sapiency. Oh, okay, no, but that would mean that our animacy distinction is distinct from the classifiers. But I'll just put back people. Gender. And we're going to have an animate and inanimate. Yeah, so that pig would be classifier food, animate, but pork would be classifier food, inanimate. Also deals with dead people. Yeah, classifier food and inanimate. I want to. That sounds familiar. What doesn't sound familiar? I mean, an adieu. Another Natling's already not it but worse. Do I want to have animate and animate sapient? Or non-sapient, one of them? Well, both of them, really. I can type, I swear. There, I'll just have that. And we don't need much more. Nouns. I don't know. Hey, Kara, since you're here, since you are good with linguistic stuff, how do you say, because the nouns do not agree, it's not marked on them, some of this information would be marked directly on the classifiers. How would you say that without using the word agree? Because to me, agree means it's marked there. Oh yeah, I guess actually, I'm an idiot. Actually, the classifiers agree with the noun. So yeah, sorry, I did not think about that one. Thank you. Govern the of the classifier. In gender. Of the classifier. Agree with the gender. That's better. Number and case are marked on the noun. Oh, actually, I think. Oh no, that's still a closed class. Huh. I was thinking of just having the classifiers be usable as pronouns, which is kind of the case, but then it's still a closed class. Okay. Okay, so what am I going to do with this? I think I'm going to leave it that way and deal with the consequences. For number, I just want to go with something very simple of singular plural. And do we want to have two different classifiers for people as in individuals and people as in groups? So that the crowd would get another classifier that is different from my cousin. Yeah, it sounds fun, but is it something I want to do? That's the thing. It is something that you want to see too. Actually, I'm going to do this. There. Now, what I want is to... I want this so that I can write all the classifiers. Just tell me if that works. You should now be seeing the phonology for the language, or actually just the inventories. That looks like it did work, yeah. Sorry, Secondus, the question was, do we want something, like a different classifier for people as individuals and people as groups? Alright, perfect. So now, I'm going to exploit you. You are going to be my workers for now, and you are going to coin words, knowing that syllables are at the maximum CCVVCC. At the maximum, you don't have to use all of them. And for classifiers, I would like monosyllables. Just, yeah, unpaid workers. I mean, no, I'm not going to make that joke. Subscribe to my Patreon. I don't have one, to be clear. So, what is the classifier for... Just give me classifiers. Monosyllabic words CCVVCC. Using the inventory on the top left, if I did not mess that up. Which I don't appear to have messed it up. Nice. CCVVCC. Why are you this way? You don't have to use all of them. But I'm going to take lom, flan, and catch. Huh. Weird. Secondus. Let's see, for building, I'm going to pick that one. Activate the IPA keyboard, yes. Mias, I like Mias for, let's see. Miam, of course, that's what I think of. Oh, I assume this is the ch. I'm going to go with kna. Actually, syllable formation, syllable formation. I don't think I have much about that. Sonorants cannot occur after another consonant. So kna is not valid. C before V are not mandatory. Tai. I like Tai instead of kna. I'm going to go with that one. Did I put flan? No, I did not. Actually, I'm going to switch them. I'm going to take one last one from France. Not. Oh, no, you already gave one. So whoever wants to propose one, actually, I'm going to take na for other. It's short, it's going to go pretty much everywhere. So it being simple is quite nice. Actually, flan is not valid. I'm going to keep flan. No, that's a sonorant. Right, la is sonorant, so it cannot be flan. It's going to be pfan. Please do not subscribe to the divinities only pfan. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, we have pf. So we have to keep that. I'm going to put the tie bar there. But regardless, the L was not valid. Let's see. Yeah, here also requires a tie bar. And faux, we don't have another one, sadly. Sorry, I misled you. By the way, S green, I use a real Simon Green. I assume not, but never know. Oh yeah, at the end, sorry, yeah. Why? Oh yeah, right. Overleaf really dislikes zero with characters. Hey, I had to try my luck. So that's our basic thingy. So now, for animate sapient, non-sapient, I'm going to shorten it as was suggested to sapient and animate. I don't remember who said that. I think someone said that, but I cannot find it because I am bad at this. Anyway, what else can we have? I'm going to render that. Yep. And I'm also going to do this. Right, doesn't work that way. Gotcha. Why are you doing this? I had to do it one by one. Okay. There. For those of you who do not know, this is the layout I've been working on for the segments articles. If you don't know what segments is, please do say so in the chat. I can explain. For now, however, let's go with more... Do we want to have more explanations about classifiers? I feel like we should. Or rather, first, let's finish this. What they can inflect for. The sapient gender. I'm going to call it gender, yeah. People, deities, and other mythological figures. Judging by the absence of anyone asking what the hell segment is, I'm going to get that you all know what it is. Just know that I'm very disappointed that you didn't all submit an article for it. So the sapient gender encompasses, yes, encompasses people, deities, and other mythological figures that are deemed to have sapiency? Can I say that? I don't like it. So they are deemed to have cognitive abilities equal to or superior to those of humans. Yes, sapiens, not sapiency. But yeah, to have sapiens just feels very weird to me. Is used with animals and phenomena and mobile phenomena. So fire, rain, wind. So fire, weather. Rivers, tides. Aha! I said tides before you did. I just saw it pop right as I was looking to the right. Oh, actually, I have a question for all of you. Would you be more comfortable if instead of just my voice, you also had my face somewhere? Like, as in a webcam, not just a picture of me. I'm not that dumb yet. Because I could make that happen for next time. Yeah, you have it in the background, but some I know that some people are more comfortable seeing who is talking. And I don't really mind having my face somewhere on camera, so. And face reveal, have you really never seen a picture of me? We've known each other for over a year, I think. You must have seen me once, at least, Secundus. Okay, I'll make that happen for next time then. So the animate gender is used with animals and mobile phenomena. Make gender as well as emotions, as well as negative emotions. Negative emotions. And memories. Because why not? Yeah, I mean, if you're fairly new, yeah, you probably wouldn't have seen a picture of me, but in the Discord server, for anyone who's been there for, yeah, over a year, there's probably a picture of me somewhere. Otherwise, just look in the announcements channel. Oh, a flattering picture of me? Are you sure it was flattering? Because I know exactly which one it is. And for what it's worth, I originally sent it to several friends in a group chat. Because it was actually appropriate at the time, and it was as a joke. I know that picture is absolutely awful. And that's why Marek saved it. That's her kink. So the inanimate gender is used. Yeah, used. No bother. I'm going to use the same structure twice. I don't care. This is not good writing. I am not a good writer. So it's used for everything else. Ta-da! Okay. I'm going to do some... Oh, this is terrible. Never do this in LaTeX. Never ever do this. No, I'd like to see that photo. Just send a DM to Marek and ask her to send you a picture of me. She'll send that one. Probably the only one she saved. What about the tools classifier? You know what? That's actually a good call, and I'm going to use FAO, proposed by France earlier. Done. We have a tools classifier now. So yeah, just never do this in LaTeX. You do not want to be doing this. VSpace is bad. Do not use it that way. Use it when you are building a title page or something, not when you want to space things out. I'm just using that because I have not yet configured these templates to use subsections. Actually, do I have separ? No, I have not configured that yet. As you can see, there's a lot of things lacking from that layout. But hey, it's a work in progress that I'm going to take back up when we are done with the segments issue that should be out in 3 weeks. And by the way, there's way over 100 pages in it. So, now cases. What cases do we have? I'm going to copy that because I'm lazy. I want to have a very stripped down system. Only has a few cases. Whose names should be quite clear. Because we are assuming English speakers. So it's going to have 4 cases. Subjective, objective. Is that actually... I would call it oblique, or... No, wait. Regime is the objective one, so it's oblique. Completely forgot how old French works. So subjective is for like subjects or verbs. Objective is for objects or verb. Possessive is for possessed stuff and possessors. I'm going to deal with that later. And oblique is for non-direct objects. And literally everything else. I'm not going to bother explaining them more right now. That's going to be more details. But later, I'll do it. I promise. I'm not going to leave it that way. This is not intended as a relax or anything. But so, yeah, I'll just detail that a bit later in a future stream, actually. And I will also be right back in a minute. Someone is calling me again, I'm sorry. Really sorry about that. This is really interesting, I must say. I made conlang for a few years now, and I've always applied the whole little I actually know. Same, I've been doing this for 15 years, and every time I open any linguistics book, or every time I see someone else conlang, even someone who's been conlanging for like 2 years, they're going to have looked at different things. I cannot even pretend that I know all of the basics of linguistics. There's probably stuff I missed, or stuff I looked at and think I understand, but I really don't. And with conlangs, you don't even need to limit yourself to what has been done and described by linguistics. Linguistics is just a tool here. Yeah, looking at other people's work process is especially interesting because I'm very, very rarely interested in the result. Also, the more you learn, the less you realize you actually know. Yes, very much so. Especially when you look at the work of someone who also knows a lot, because I do think I know a bunch of stuff. I'm no linguist, but for a conlanger, I probably know a lot, relatively. But anyone who's been in conlanging for a few years is going to also know a lot. So it's always interesting looking at what they've learned, where they did their research, how they did it. Because it can be extremely different. Oh yeah, for sure. Because like you can be a linguist because you have specialized in, say, phonology, but maybe you don't know anything about syntax. Because no one knows anything about syntax. Except Andrew Carney, that's it. Yeah, just looking at other people, how they work, why they make the decisions, I find that to be the most inspiring part of conlanging, of other people's work. But like, if you just hand me a grammar, I don't care. You could hand me a 2,000-page grammar for your conlang, I would probably not even open it. Because the truth is, I do not care for your conlangs. I care for your conlanging. As someone who would consume content related to conlangs, at least, the process is much more interesting to me. But for linguistics, as it's more theoretical, I would read absolutely anything. So I'll explain on these cases later. What else do we want? Single and plural. Okay, so classifiers. Has mandatory classifiers for the following. These classifiers go before the noun and take on the marks. Where is it? For gender. The noun P2. Just a few things that we are going to encounter if several nouns would be used as one subject. If several nouns of different classes would be used as the sole subject of a verb, classifier, the classifier, yes, the classifier now is used and takes the mark of the plural number. That's it. That's... Oh no, number is marked on the noun. So no, actually that's valid. That's good. As you can see, I just made a mistake. I thought for some reason that you would mark the number on the classifier and wrote it this way. But that's not the case. But I'm keeping it because I like that. Having one special case where the classifier actually takes a number in order to show that it applies differently. Because more nouns exist in that space of this classifier, and that's one way to signify that. So let's see. We have something to say about how they inflect. Yeah, I like it too. That's why I'm keeping it. But something I really like to do that is basically just an extension of that method of just leaving the mistakes as exceptions, really. Something I really like to do that relates to that is just opening a grammar for a language, any language. Finding a part that I really like, reading it once, just to get a grasp of what it does. Like, how does one language deal with irrealist mood? And you just read all of it in one go. Don't try to deeply understand it. Don't try to memorize it. Just get a grasp for what it kind of does. And then you just type what you remembered and adapt it to your language, your own conlang. That's for me a very big way of getting inspiration. Because if I find something I like, I'm going to want to try and give it my own twist. And by not having a complete understanding of how it is in that one language, I'm going to just go with the very concept that I'm going to have to adapt. It's particularly nice to do with sketch grammars. Very short, not very detailed grammars. Because then you really just have the idea, you don't have all the exceptions. You cannot actually copy it. You sort of copy the main paradigm, but that's it. And even then, not in totality, because if you only read it once, chances are you did not really pay attention. You did not memorize everything. You did not understand everything. So it's pretty fun, and it's a very good way, I think, to have a basis that you know is naturalistic. Because, well, it happened. But you also give it its own twist, so only your basis is real, naturalistic. So, in Speedlang, pronouns are considered to be an open class. They can be crafted by infecting the classifier. No, I'm going to undo that and instead go there. Classifiers in case can be used to refer to the nouns applied to nouns they applied to previously in the utterance. That's actually a good call, Sasha. It is. But I mean, I can also just, oops. I can also just do that. I wrote all of them like in all caps, so I just have it be case sensitive and just replace. I don't really need to do that. But this is why I did it in all caps. Thank you, Sasha. For anyone who does not write it that way, yes, but where's the fun in that? Nowhere, but where's the fun in this new command? Not everything needs to be fun. Your entire country is based on that idea, that not everything needs to be fun. So, classifiers can be used to blah blah blah, classify in case. I'm just going to do this and classifiers in case. So, no, actually that's not needed. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm messing the layout a lot, but something I want to do before. I am neutral about that. Yes, that is exactly the problem. Where is the fun in that? At least you have the best chocolate. So, possession. What can we do for possession? We wanted to have... we want to use the classifier inflected for, with the possessive case on something. Yes, I love you too, Sasha. You are the best Sasha I know. Sorry, I'm just thinking about what I can do for possession. So we have the classifier. Actually, let's look at what it could look like here. I don't know any other Tobias, but yes, same. You're also the best Sasha I know. That's very nice. Classifier with a person prefix. Yes, that will actually give us an idea of what to use for verbs. Need to put that here. Let's see. No, this I want here. No, this is not what I want. What I want is to write a sentence, but with an optional pronoun before that. Oh, okay, I see. So you would want the thing to inflect for the possessed. Yeah, to be... Oh, that's actually a very good idea. Hang on. By... yeah, I think is 1SG here for the possessor or the possessee? Possessed, I guess. Okay, for my X. It is for the possessor. Two ways. It can be expressed in two ways. First, it is possible, yes. It's possible to use a pronoun a pronominalized, and you know that I'm not American because I wrote this with an S, just in case my accent did not give it away. So first, it is possible to use a pronominalized classifier of the processor Oh, actually, when you said the pronoun, what did you have in mind? A pronoun for the processor or for the processed? The processor? Okay, good. Fire for the processed. Followed by the classifier for the processed. To which a personal prefix agreeing with the processor is added. I guess Cajun accent sound kind of similar to French ones, so you might go with it. I honestly do not think so. Because to me, the Cajun accent is quite different. Let's see, how can I do this? Okay, I'm going to copy and paste some code, some LaTeX. Get rid of this one. Okay, let's go with that. Oh, I don't like that. No, I don't like this. I'm going to have to ask Acom to... Yeah, to include some more flexibility for this. I do not want these quote marks. If I do this, I should probably just get rid of that too. And now it's just a number. 0.1. Why is it 0.1? Hang on, I need to sort that. It should not be 0.1. It's whatever. Is it because I'm in... no, it shouldn't be there. It is whatever. Let's proceed. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. Yep, that's quite nice. If I do this, actually, does that work or should I initiate it? Yeah, I should probably initiate it. So let's see. I have script, which is the basic conlang words. Then bits, which is when I deconstruct it and into morphemes. Gloss, which is the gloss, and TR translation. So how do I do this? I want the gloss. I want this. Actually, I want one. Then classifier. One dash classifier. IDV for individual. I think that's going to cut it. Oh, and I think I need to do this or not. I'll see. Classifier. Let's go with WP for weapon. How does that look for now? How does that look? It looks like this. Why do you look like this? Test. I know why it looks like this. I don't know why it looks like this. Oh, is it because I need to escape that? What? Oh, it's because I have not built my abbreviations. Let's not do it this way. I'm sorry. I just want this then. I have not set it up so that it knows my abbreviations. That's entirely my bad. So I'm going to do it this way. So my hammer, let's just say hammer. So that's what you had in mind, right, Secundus? I'm sorry, this took me 5 minutes to figure out that I could not do it, but in the end, I figured it out. Alright, so it's going to be we should probably also deal with some romanization. So I'm going to do this. I'm just figuring out romanization quickly. So the how do I do this one? I'm going to keep that one. This is going to be that. No, this one. What's a good L-like symbol for this one, and what's a good symbol for F? Actually, but with the option to have a full open class pronoun instead of the pronominalized classifier. Yeah, but I'll need to deal with the pronouns proper then. And I think I'm going to want to do some research before that. Yeah, but it's not exactly easily accessible for... I mean, oh, I don't have it. How do I do it? I mean, I guess I have that, but I don't... Oh yeah, I have that one. Is that the one you typed? Do you mean that I should just put that there? Does that work actually? Oh yeah, it does. Oh, but in this font, yeah, they're the same, so yeah. I have the compose key, so... Yeah, that's actually probably better. Yeah, I think I'll just keep it that way then. Thank you. And yeah, I do have it on my keyboard, it's just not my favorite kind of romanization to do. That's a very good question. Yeah, Yeah, I actually do not know. I don't know why. This is weird. Probably just the font because... Yeah, I just copied it and sent it in the chat and... Yeah, I mean, I don't remember which font it is, but it's a monospace font. It just has that. It just has that. So I don't really mind because it's the correct Unicode point. So the output is good. So I don't really mind that. But yeah, that I had actually never noticed that, which I guess is good. But if I do this and I do it here in the YouTube thing, yeah, same thing. So it's not just that character that's bugged; it's the actual input or the font that takes whatever input there is and just flips it. And I think it's a former IPA character or an ex-IPA character. I don't remember. Right, so I'll do some research tomorrow and tonight for pronouns and how I can actually have them be their own open class. Because I really do not see how exactly to deal with that. And I'll be live on Tuesday around the same time as today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to stop here because honestly, I don't really have a voice anymore. It's getting quite harsh, even though I've drunk over a liter. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for engaging with me. Thank you for watching all of that. Do the YouTube stuff that you probably have already done, else you wouldn't necessarily know that I was streaming. Yes, subscribe, maybe ring the bell, I don't know. I'll do all the cringe YouTube stuff someday, I swear. See ya, and have a very good day.